I love that the international girlies reach out to me and let me tell their stories. I do know that we have a lot of freedoms here in our country that everybody doesn't have across the globe. So I will tell the stories where I can, where people feel comfortable sharing. And so this woman is from Trinidad. She says, "Hi, I'm from Trinidad, and I really appreciate your channel, especially as you expose the falling birth rates and treatment of women's rights. You are helping women worldwide. I am an attorney and so use a pseudonym as my society is very religious and misogynistic. While removed from America, there is a saying here that if America catches a cold, Trinidadians will sneeze. This is true as I grew up in the Worldwide Church of God. We even attended their Feast of Tabernacles in America, only to find out as an adult that this was a cult. This church greatly affected how I was raised, and I was brainwashed to think that this was just the way things were. I found out that children were SA'd at these feasts. Following this religion and their spare the rod and spoil the child philosophy, my parents were physically abusive to us three girls, and we were basically prisoners in our home, only allowed to go to school and church. No surprise, I ended up in an abusive relationship, and your videos, as well as other content creators, have helped me to wake up. As such, what is happening in America is of interest to me as the birth rates are falling here as well. Smumortions are illegal here, but every woman knows a doctor that performs a smumortion, and prosecutions are rare. There was once a woman arrested some time ago, accused of having one, but that didn't even make it to court. Right now, birth control pills and shots are available at healthcare centers, and this, as well as the morning after pills, are sold over the counter. Many women use a drug to induce smumortion, but it's not regulated, and so many end up in the hospital due to the smumortion being incomplete. They are not prosecuted, though, however. It worries me that our government may decide to implement stricter regulations as the birth rate continues to fall. Our politicians are not in women's corners. When asked about DV, our prime minister stated in his own way that women should choose better. Here's a link to that article. I'll come back to that. I feel as if I'm on my own here, as any attempt to talk about betterment for women is shut down. I had a friend tell me recently that she needs a man, so I really appreciate what you and other content creators do. Please keep up the good work you're doing. You are improving lives with your stories. P.S. I saw the third world comment, and it is interesting to see how world countries are viewed, rightly so in some cases. Okay, so there was a post that I had posted about women getting help in the hospitals or whatever, and someone mentioned third world countries when here in America, look at our medical community and how it treats women. Is it really any better here for some people, depending on how you look or how melanated your skin is? That's definitely a question that needs answers. But we should really kind of hold our tongue and talking about third world countries as our country treats some of us darker hued women like we are one as well. So this article from The Guardian in Trinidad and Tobago came out in 2017. It looks a little funky because of how it translated. So just understand that. Okay, it says, pick your men wisely. Angered by the escalating crime rate, especially domestic related unalivings in the last month, Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley last night called on women to choose their male companions more wisely. Rowley was speaking during the first in a series of 14 conversations with the Prime Minister, public meetings at the amphitheater of the Maloney Shopping Mall when he referred to the spate of unalivings of women in recent times. With the unaliving of Jamila Derevino at the movie town on Sunday night still fresh on the public's mind, Rowley first knocked the TNT police service for its lack of urgency in delivering on a better detection rate to overall crime and unalivings in particular. If a crime is to be committed, invariably, the police may not know it is to be committed, and more often than not, the police would only know after the crime has been committed, he said, pointing out that approximately one-third of unalivings in the last month were domestic related issues. The Prime Minister asked what the role of the state, or TTPS, was in preventing these sorts of crimes. He said the ill-fated domestic cases usually end with women in strained or difficult relationships, forcing the state to intervene, putting a restraining order against the partner, and this has been creating a basis for violent crime. You called on the Prime Minister to do something about it. I am not in your bedroom. I am not your choice of men. I'm sorry, I am not in your choice of men. The Prime Minister said women have a responsibility to pick those they associate with wisely and should know when to get out of a relationship. He said when this happens, the police must then go the extra mile to ensure there is detection if anything gets out of hand. So choose better, ladies. Choose better. That's all this Prime Minister has for you, is just to choose better. And so this is what is going on in Trinidad and Tobago and what our sisters in that global community are facing. You guys go ahead and join the conversation. Let me know if there's anything that you want to let me know about your particular country of origin. Like, comment, share. I'm so thankful that so many women globally are sharing their stories with me. This woman says, hello, I just want to say I love your channel. One of the reasons that I have noticed of why marriage is dying here in the Gulf is because of the hypocrisy of men. To explain it more, in Islam, sleeping with someone before marriage is a sin, and women literally here are honored unalived for just being accused or even raped. There was this case that happened in the 90s. They unalived a little girl because her older brother raped her and got her pregnant. No one saw it as wrong, even though her brother raped her, yet she got blamed. And she was 12 or 13, if I could remember. In this region, men can't do wrong, even when they sin, like doing drugs, sex before marriage, even unaliving somebody, because people here believe that men can't bring the family shame, even if he unalives them all. This made me doubt religion, because if they care about religion when men are sinning and no one gets punished. She told me in advance that her English is not so great. So please bear with me, as some things might be a little muddled. She says, this made me doubt religion, because if they care about religion, when are men sinning and not get punished? The law is protecting these men too, because he gets only light sentences because anger and jealousy drive him to commit this unaliving. Yet they call women emotional. This hypocrisy and see that men sin and get away from punishment made many women fear marriage in men. They always blame Western media, but they don't see that crime that most men do here. Here they unalive their sister because they don't approve of the marriage, but her father was okay with that marriage. She gives me a link. I'll come back to the link. She says, it happened in Kuwait, but it is so common in most countries here. These unalivings made women here fear marriage and develop a huge hate for these men. There is more, but this is only what I can send right now. Here is what she sent me out of Kuwait, where it's talking about a pregnant woman who was pew-pewed by her brother inside the hospital ICU. The reason for it was a marriage dispute, even though the father had approved of it. A 35-year-old pregnant Kuwaiti woman was unalived by her brother on Wednesday due to a marriage dispute. Although the father of Fatima al-Ajmi and her brother had approved of the marriage, one of her siblings was against it, as her husband was not from the same tribe. Obviously, a great reason to harm your own sister. This was an individual act that was taken out of maliciousness and a medieval mentality. This act came out of hate for his sister and his personal opinion that she has embarrassed the family. Al-Ajmi suffered several pew-pew shots. The first two were fired by her brother inside her house in the presence of her one-year-old child. Hearing the gunshots, Ajmi's husband rushed her to the hospital. Security forces were stationed at the entrance of the hospital, but her brother entered through a back door and into the ICU and fired 4 more shots to finish the job. Since Al Ajmi got married 2 years ago, she was threatened several times by her brother. The unaliving has sparked uproar on social media with many people demanding justice. I would say most people were horrified that something like that could happen in Kuwait. However, I think the main reason behind the uproar is because she was unalived in the hospital. Many people have mentioned that they were appalled that something like this could happen in a medical institution. The unaliving comes a few weeks after a historic win for women's rights, as the National Assembly approved a DV draft law. Obviously, drafting a law is not going to change the entitlement that many of these males feel that they could take out this type of behavior, do this type of behavior and not get caught or not be prosecuted, because these religions favor men's opinions and men's behaviors over that of the humanity and safety of women. The history of honor unalivings, while the unaliving of Al Ajmi does not fit the textbook definition, her death is similar to many other women, as they were unalived by family members for dishonoring the family. What defines honor is a loose term that can mean anything as simple as speaking to a male colleague on the phone. Many perpetrators hide behind Article 153 of the Kuwaiti Penal Code, which states that a man who surprises his mother, sister, daughter, or wife in an unsavory sexual act with a man and unalives him or her or both would be charged with a misdemeanor and are punishable with a maximum 3-year sentence, or 3,000 Kuwaiti dinars. The law specifically says that the man must catch the women in the act and that it was an element of surprise. He cannot plan it. Hussein explained that the reason we do not have many registered cases of honor unalivings is because the accused admits to the unaliving, and so the judge concludes that since there was intent and that the unaliving was not by surprise, it is a unaliving and not an honor unaliving. The way they're splicing hairs here, and I don't know. Where is the protection for women? Where are women safe? It's just something globally where these people, peen havers, just feel like they could just do what they want because there's not any consequences. Where are the consequences? Where are women treated with respect and have humanity to where we are able to just live without being subject to this kind of violence, especially from a family member? Y'all go ahead and weigh in on this one. Don't forget to like, comment, and share.